The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, that's what we're covering today. Now, look, if you tuned in yesterday, you probably did well. Now, when we jump into this action, we look at where we're going. We need to talk about, we kind of might have hit a brick wall potentially today. However, if we start to break this level, fireworks, ladies and gentlemen, fireworks. Okay, so we got to talk clearly about this. Now, if you don't believe me what we're covering, let me give you a quick recap. I recommend that you follow on Twitter so you can get all the updates, even when I'm not able to make videos here at the end of the day. This morning and every morning, I give you a little bit of a rundown and expectations. I said so far, America keeping its distance from wanting to get involved in any war so far. No evidence tying to Iran as far as what the government is telling us. I'm not saying I believe them, just don't shoot the messenger, right? And there has been no real impact or expectations of an impact on oil either. S&P, QQQ look good for continuation. I am targeting ES 4400 and Nasdaq 154. The same levels we have mentioned for like a week now. Nothing's changed. Okay, fast forward to where we're at. Boom, shaka, laka. Can I get some more? How good are we, right? Right to the wick today. You got 20 points off on NQ. ES, as you can see, 44.20, stronger than we really kind of even desired. I mean, perfect. We're breaking back above that zone as well. So good action so far. I'm going to talk about the equities I'm liking and ultimately where I see us going and what needs to happen to get us there. But before I do that, to ask you to do two things, consider liking and subscribing. I'm not going to go into a long spiel, but if you like the channel and you want to get daily updates on futures as well as equities that we're liking here in the market, as far as Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, NVIDIA, I don't know, whatever you're looking to trade or whatever opportunities in front of us, consider liking and subscribing. If you want to see what we're trading, how we're trading it, what we're doing throughout the day, maybe Discord is there for you. Maybe that's what you want. But I do got to say, above all, so I'm trying to look at Discord while I'm here as well, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have to pay for a lot of the educational stuff. But if you want to see how we're trading, as you can see here, everything that's included, these are just trades from the day, what trade you're looking at. The biggest trade that I got in today was Meta. I started getting into Meta down here. I said right here, you break above 320, we're going long. As you can see, Meta ended up running into 324, almost back into those 52-week highs. I think we'll get there, but we'll, don't want to jump the gun just yet. Like I said on Twitter, as you can see here as well, right? I like to post a lot of stuff for free. I don't like to have this giant paywall. Again, 6 hours ago, posted. Meta's looking very good into 52-week highs. $4 later, you run up. So again, consider liking, subscribing. It helps out a ton. Appreciate you guys. Now, what are we looking at? So let's talk about a few key things. And again, I think there's a few things going on. Now, before we jump the gun too much, what do you have tomorrow? Tomorrow you have PPI. Okay, a little bit. It's not the most important data pull for inflation, but it's something. Okay, I think the market will give a little bit of reaction. So PPI. Number 2, Thursday, the day after tomorrow. I don't know. Some people don't know Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know, right? So Thursday, sorry. I'm one of those people. You have CPI. In my opinion, a bigger pull for data. That's where we're at. Okay, so you have 2 big data pulls coming in. I said I expected upside until basically tomorrow and might get a little bit shaky depending on data. Okay, so when we're looking at this, in my opinion, if these data pulls go even close or remotely good, right, I think you're getting it back above 44.20, and we're going to try to push up. Personal opinion. You'll try to push up from there. Okay. Nasdaq, we mount back above, 15.4. I think you have a little bit ways still to go back into around 15, roughly like 6. You need to get above that area, but you can see that you are breaking the overall trend, or you're trying to get over that trend, right? So really you need above 15.4. You'll get it's hard to say, but a little bit of a breakout here. You look very, very strong and good. Things to mention. QQQ, you got above the 100 MA. So big resistances already have been broken. It's kind of like just like the fine print. Now on top of volume, what have we seen? So we saw at lows, right? At lows on Friday, very, very big, right? At low, you see lows right there. Highest volume. Buyers stepping in once again. When people said, oh, we're going to be bearish, we're going to go down, we're this, we're that. Buyers stepped in once again. Important to know that. Very big. And since then, volume has still been decent. A little bit slower volume today, but again, we have PPI tomorrow, so I kind of anticipated some slower volume. Now, so that's what's going on here, technically speaking. I'm not going to give you too many guesses. I'm not going to give you too many crazy statements. What I'm trying to say is as on the fence as possible, because I think you got to be on the fence here. I'm leaning bullish, but still want to say that. When we look at some of the stuff that's happening in Israel, the Middle East, giving you a feedback. Like I said yesterday, as long as America doesn't have a reason to get into this, they're going to try to stay out of it, right? They're getting in multiple proxy wars. However, they're trying to stay out of it, especially with this inflation issue. Now, what did America say regarding this? They urged Iran to let Israel do what they got to do, let them solve it out between themselves, right? Russia did the same. China did the same. They all said, look, y'all do what y'all got to do. We don't want to be involved in this. Whether you believe it, don't believe it, I don't care. Okay? But today, Hezbollah, again, you're going to see all this news coming out, blaming, pointing the finger. I don't care. If they're attacking each other, it's not ideal. Hezbollah came out and they claimed attacks on Lebanon. And then they're pointing the finger at each other. This isn't good. You do not want to see this. The more this type of line gets crossed, the more and more dangerous this becomes for America to get involved. America is also sending another aircraft carrier over there. Okay. Now, again, I think this might be a little bit of like flexing our muscles a little bit, but again, room for caution for sure. Room for caution. This will also dictate the price if oil starts to become a problem. We saw what oil did today. Like we mentioned yesterday, we wanted to keep going, but more flatlining. Oil really doesn't know what to do here either. These are all areas for me that are a little bit concerning, if you will, right? So these are things we're looking at, problems potentially on the horizon, okay? Again, let's go over DXY. Let's break down a few more fundamentals. We'll go into those equities and stocks that we're liking. DXY. Again, I always recommend only looking at DXY on higher time frames. It's the only real way you need to be looking at this. I posted this on Twitter earlier as well. You're breaking back below that key level, the previous high that we had there, 15.9. We can see the wicks that we've had here. Really terrible closing days, back to back on DXY. You're breaking back down. Now the question is does the dollar start to strengthen here? Right? Does it get a little bit of something, right? Or are you just going to come back down to this illiquid area? So that's what we're waiting to kind of see here. And if oil continues this kind of path that it's on of weakness, I think the dollar shows weakness as well. They kind of have moved in tangent and they kind of started, reaching a bottom together at the same time, around the same time roughly. So definitely worth mentioning there and what I'm watching. So what do we know so far? The dollar showing weakness, oil not showing a lot of strength, kind of flatlining today. And then next up too, we go over yields here on the daily. Across the board, not great candles, right? But I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to claim defeat over anything happening here, but definitely not the most ideal behavior on the daily, charts here on the 30, 10, 5, and 2. You can start seeing some more weakness to the downside, but again, they're holding up decent so far. You're going to need to see more selling on the dollar first. What do we know? Yields lag the dollar. Okay, it's important to know. Next up, let's go over some equities. What do we like? First up, AVGO. Like I said yesterday, AVGO, you had a lot of opportunity here. Pretty simple. What were we looking at? I said you could long the retest. Go back to Friday's video if you need to. I said if you come back down into 840, you can long the retest back into 870. If you want the easiest, the safest trade, you go long when you break 856. This morning, you had just that opportunity, right? You got above 856 this morning, right? Right here. Boom, shaka, laka, back into the level. Never a doubt there. So congrats if you got that. But until we get back over this 870, if we get over 870, we're targeting 889. But until then, we're kind of just expecting some downside short term there. Microsoft, again, this has kind of been a no trade for me until we can mount above 330. You can go to something like the 4 hour, the 2 hour. You're looking for confirmation here. You get the hold like you had back here. You broke, held, came back into, shot up to a 340. I believe Microsoft is extremely strong, especially with the news surrounding it regarding their new AI chip that's going to be coming out. It's going to rival some of the competitors like NVIDIA. That was the name mentioned out there. Very big to recognize and understand that. Microsoft over 330, very bullish. But again, we're still waiting on equities to get that confirmation above where? 15.4. And then ES as well, the level that we mentioned. So again, rewind the tape if you need to go look at it. Meta. One of the biggest, baddest names out there. I don't think Meta's too big of a trade anymore because you've already had so much of a breakout. I believe Meta's going to break over 326 personally. I just do. It's very, very strong, showing so much resilience this whole time. You're looking for a push into roughly like 332. I've been targeting that for a minute now. So again, we're just kind of hoping and praying that we can eventually get that move. But that's where we're at there. Nothing really crazy, nothing too much to say there. Again, you're going to notice that there's less and less trades coming up, and there's less, overall great setups because we've had a bulk of these moves. Okay. Important to understand that until we start getting key confirmation and breaks. Now, Apple, I want to highlight a few levels here. You've come into target number 1, 179.6. Numero uno. Okay. Number 2, we're looking at right here. 183 basically. That's our next level. You mount 179.6, I think you're moving up with ease. Okay. I've also said, as long as Apple remains strong, I think it's a big indicator for SPY. You're going to get continuation. Apple has shown a lot of strength. I don't think today was a bad day. You just finally tested that level and now you're rejecting off of it. What do we expect to happen when we hit a key level or a resistance? We expect sellers to step in there because it's a key level. It's a resistance. It's why we have that level marked out there. Just, in theory, right? That's why. Okay. NVIDIA, last year I'm going to mention here. I don't know how many times to say this. I see a lot of questions surrounding NVIDIA. So I'm always trying to make this as clear as possible for you guys. Say it with me, 464. And I have to make this very clear because if you break and you hold 464 on NVIDIA, I don't want to say I'm positive, but I'm very, very confident in an all-time high push if you hold 464. Today during our live stream, and if you don't know, we live stream every day, 10:30 a.m. Central, right? We're live every day. Okay, on the channel. I've said it so many times, and people keep asking, like, oh, we're squeezing. I don't believe we're squeezing whatsoever. There's actually not one stock here that really, maybe AVGO, a little bit of squeezy, maybe. But like a bulk of these names don't look like they're squeezing to me. It's very just healthy movement overall. Microsoft, decent candle there, but there was news surrounding that, right? Surrounding most of these big candles that we've had. So I want to say this. I don't believe it's happening. I do not, right? I don't believe shorts have had to cover on something like Nasdaq yet. You're just bouncing out of a major support. But if you start to make a higher high here, right? You start breaking structure like we mentioned, I do believe shorts will have to cover. That's why I think CPI and PPI are so big over the next 2 days. So what am I going to say? You guys already know. If you are showing up to this channel day in and day out, you know what I'm about to say. I think patience is a big friend here. Big friend. If you have swings and they're already kind of in the green, I think you're sitting pretty nice, pretty comfy, pretty cozy. But again, you don't want to be over leveraging at this point now. We want to get some confirmation, see how this data plays out. Because if the data comes out good, we're going to continue to run unless really bad stuff happens over in the Middle East. Okay? That's my viewpoint. If you have questions, comment down below. I'll get to those questions all today. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.